All right, so as we're looking at this flower full moon, the last year when the flower full moon was coming up, we were really looking at it big time because it matched everything in the iPad Goat video as it was given to us by the girls sitting inside the corona, the total solar eclipse. Lily was her name. And that total solar eclipse in April delivered the May 5th, the flower full moon, and the apple rolled across the floor in iPad Goat and it burst into a flower. And the Obama cartoon character, his eyes got really big. He started sweating and all that good stuff. And we were just like, that's got to be that. But they pulled iPad Goat. Heliofont, the website, everything, they shut it down about 6 months ago. I don't remember when it was exactly, but as if to say, nah, the clue really isn't there. So you go to Netflix Wednesday, which came out the same day as The Glass Onion. It's exactly 1.5 years to this flower full moon. The release of Wednesday and The Glass Onion was on a Wednesday, November 23rd, 2022. Exactly. When you do it in a date calculator, it says 1 year, 6 months to the day because it's to the 23rd, to the opposite month. May is opposite November. It's 1 year and 6 months exactly. And she is going to look at the pilgrim because the movie was coded with all pilgrim world, pilgrims, 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 pilgrims. And the whole thing with pilgrims, and John Wayne kept calling the guy Pilgrim and the man who shot Liberty Valance. Again, the AI has set all this up for decades and decades and decades through their predictive programming, through their clues. And what's over his shoulder would be the Mayflower, wouldn't it? The flower full moon of this May 23rd. So you got the pilgrim, and you got, obviously, that's going to represent the Mayflower in the background. And then she's going to say Dia de los Muertos, which is Day of the Dead. Purposes. And I got to crank up the volume here, don't I? I've been turning it up, turning it down, turn it up, turn it down.
More seating for year-long Dia de los Muertos.
More seating for a Dia de los Muertos, which is Day of the Dead. And you see the time stamped on the clock, 33:22. So it's 33 fused with 322. Big time Mystery Babylon coding there. We know 322 is skull and bones and all that good stuff. Okay, so here we go. And then go to the opening of Spectre, James Bond, which was all about Day of the Dead. The dead, with a big bass drum, are alive. So Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, that Wednesday referred to, it's all about the Day of the Dead where the dead are alive. Or as the Antichrist was dead, Revelation 13:3 says, had a deadly wound, but did live. Because it's very confusing, but it's going to be a body double switch, so he doesn't really die, but he spiritually rises. He's going to return to everybody after World War III, that he saved the earth, that he rose from the dead, and he's going to be offering eternal life. The Antichrist is exactly the upside down version of Christ. He doesn't really return from the dead because it's a body double switch, but all goats are going to be at that point. The earth will be extremely supernatural as the false prophets performing lying signs and wonders, so on and so forth. So when you get to Day of the Dead, so Spectre opened up with, Day of the Dead and James Bond. Who is the Antichrist? He's 007, the seventh king of Mystery Babylon. He is walking around dead. He's a skeleton. It's James Bond. He's alive, but he's dead. See, he's a skeleton. Remember, Donnie Darko also had on the skeleton costume as that centered around at the end of Halloween. Donnie Darko, or Donald's darkened right eye. And so here's Bond, Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, Spectre opening. Spectre had a premiere date and a worldwide date, or a London release and a USA release. You go to the Spectre on October 26th, which is also when Donnie Darko was released. Donnie's was 2001. Yeah, that year. And this was 2015, October 26th. When you include both dates and run it to the flower full moon, Mayflower, Pilgrims, Pilgrim World, Netflix, it's a perfect 31-33 days. So what are you looking at when you look at 3-1-3-3? We're looking at 13-3, Revelation 13-3, the first time deadly wound, but did live is mentioned. You got 8 years, 6 months for 86, but you're looking also at 3-1-3. It's 3-1-3-3. The 313th frame was the Zapruder film. Zapruder film frame 313. Oof. Really didn't spell that right. They still are giving it to me. There it is. ZAP Rooter. ZAP Rooter film frame 313. And so it says frame 313, the assassination theories, and frame 313. And that's why all that was coded as it was. We don't know what all that was. I've had so many different people speculate on how that was done, what was done, so on and so forth. But so frame 313 is all about Revelation 13:3. They just reverse the numbers around. And that's what you get from Spectre Day of the Dead to this flower full moon. You get 313 in the days fused with 13:3 for Revelation 13:3. Pop over to the other release date. I think this is the United States release date. And by the way, that's when you do that, you have to include both dates. You have to click the check mark that includes both dates. Because in their world, when they code things, sometimes they include both dates, sometimes they don't. You come over here to the United States release date, do not include both dates to this flower full moon of 5/23. He would go down on 5/21 in a fake staged event. Look at the days now. It's 3,121. 121 is Antichrist in simple gematria, where A is 1, B is 2, C is 3, Z is 26. So that's either when it's going to happen based on all the other things that we've been showing you, or that's certainly when they want us to think it's going to happen, like they have done with breadcrumbs many times over. All right, anyway, love you.